Happy New Year, everybody. It's Chris here, the Rail Writer, and I have my first tarot for writers reading of the new year. I completely missed January, but that's just how things played out. I did try to do a reading for the entire year for all of you with 12 cards, and it was very ambitious. It was 12 different sets of cards, and it turned into a monster of a reading, way over 2 hours, and it wouldn't load, and there were mic issues because I need to buy one instead of using my headphones, and it just didn't work. And I ended up trying it twice and then realizing that the universe was telling me this wasn't going to work and I should just enjoy my holiday break, which is what I did. I hope you all did as well. So what I wanted to do for you today, and before I start, actually, I should tell you that in case anyone's goal for the year is to publish a novel or get work done on revising a novel or completing a novel, if you have at least half of a book finished, or maybe I should say 100 pages, I just had a client push back her editing work, and so I have some time before my next booking, and I have an opening. So if you're looking for a freelance manuscript editor for fiction, nonfiction, or poetry, hit me up, email me at therealwriter@gmail.com and put editing in the subject line, and I will get back to you. If you want to know what I do and my fees, you can go to my website. It's therealwriter.com. And it's under editing and critique. There's a link on the landing page. If you just scroll down, you'll see a link to that page that gives you all the details. But I'm happy to have a phone conversation with you to discuss your project as well. So what I decided to do for the reading is to pick all the 3 cards in a few decks. So 2019 is a 3-year. And because if you add 2 plus 1 plus 9, it equals 12, and 1 plus 2 equals 3. And I'm not a professional numerologist or anything, but 3 is actually my life path number, and it's supposed to be a major abundance number. All good things, basically. So I'll put a link down to my numerologist that I follow, Felicia Bender, and she has monthly numerology, not horoscopes, I don't know what you call them, monthly numerological scopes, I'm not sure, based on your life path number. So I will link to that in the description box so you can check yours out. So what I did was I pulled all the 3 cards, and the reason why this has text on it is because this is a deck by Cheryl Richardson, the Hay House author, and what is she, sort of, I wouldn't say self-love coach, but she's all about time management and trusting yourself and living your best life and self-care. She's really all about self-care. So she has a deck too that I bought many years ago, but the deck, the cards have the title on one side and the sort of one sentence elaboration on the other. So if I put this down, you would see what the card is. So I just put the one card she has in the deck that explains what the deck is for and how to use it. So if you like this picture, pick this card. I shuffled the cards and picked the 3rd one from the top because they are not numbered. And I didn't want to pick alphabetically because I thought that would be that wouldn't allow for enough mystery. But all of these cards are the 3rd cards in the deck. Actually, that's not true either. Okay, so here's where my entire idea falls apart. These two are the 3rd cards in the deck, the number 3 cards. This card is from Yasmin Boland's Moonology deck, which I just got and love. And this card is related to a moon cycle. And it's relevant, and I will explain it if you pick this card, but I don't want to sway you. So if you're feeling like you need some moon stuff, pick this card. If you're feeling like you need some self-care advice, pick this card. These two are Colette and Reid cards. This is an oracle deck, and this is her new totem animal deck. And I would really love to, I've done readings with the oracle deck, but I want to start using these decks, these three, soon, and do readings with them. I'm a deck freak. I love buying new decks. So I have a feeling I might be doing a reading every month with a new deck, but it's so much fun. So, because it lets me do things like this, which I find interesting and compelling, and hope you do too. So pick your card, and we are going to start with this side. Instead of going this way, we're going to go this way. So we're going to start with Cheryl Richardson's Self-Love card, and that is, appropriately, because I couldn't help see this card, creativity. So the card is creativity, and there's a little fairy landing on her hand. Looks suspiciously like Tinkerbell, but don't let that take you down the rabbit hole of Peter Pan. But this is the creativity card, and what it says on the reverse: express your creativity, delight in the mystery of your inner muse. So the purpose behind these cards is to give you sort of a frame of reference for this year, because it's a 3-year, hence my attempt to pick relevant cards for the 3-year. And I believe February is also a 3-month, which is where this card comes in. So there is a method to my madness. So, but I wanted to use the 3 to sort of give you an overarching, some overarching advice for the year. And so what better thing to tell writers, whatever you write, prose, poetry, songs, plays, essays, doesn't matter. What better thing to tell you for the year but express your creativity? So I bet you're saying, well, duh, Chris, I'm a writer. I have a bunch of goals for this year that are already exhausting me, and I was excited about them, and now I'm tired thinking I'll never achieve them because life is incredibly busy. And also, if you live on the East Coast or anywhere where there's been snow, and if you have kids, you have been seeing way too much of your kids because of school being out or opening late or closing early. So you're thinking, how am I going to get this done? Well, I don't have the answer to that, because you have to find the time yourself, and I'm not a time management expert. So you have to find the way that's best for you. I have said before that one of my favorite ways to find time to write is to go sit in my car at lunchtime. Not in the conference room, not in my office, not in the kitchen. People come in and out. They want to talk to you. They want to eat with you. Go sit in your car. And if sitting in the parking lot is weird, go drive somewhere and sit in that parking lot. Go to a shopping mall and sit in that parking lot, or a drugstore, a grocery store parking lot, and park at the edge and sit in the car and do some writing for half an hour. Leave early to go to a meeting or pick up your kids or whatever, and spend a half hour in the car writing before your meeting or whatever. So that's the end of my time management seminar for you. So this is just a reminder that it's a new year. This is not to make you feel like crap, because for the last 5 years you've had the goal to work on your writing and you didn't. That's not what this is about. Notice this card does not say start writing. It doesn't say publish a book. It doesn't say get an agent. It doesn't say save money for a conference. It doesn't say form a critique group, although these are all great ways of expressing your creativity. It says express your creativity, and I believe, yes, the word delight is also in this card. Delight in the mystery of your inner muse. So take a step back from all of the things you've promised to do in the beginning of every year for the last whoever knows how many years. about your writing, and make it less about a product and more about the process. Are you really expressing your creativity, or are you just sitting down to a project that you feel like you'll never finish, isn't good enough, has been making you crazy, and just when you get excited about it, you get a big project at work and you can't find time to work on it because you have to work later, you have to travel, or your kids get sick, or something else happens, you get sick. There's always something that tests us and whether or not we really want something. So it says, express your creativity and delight in the mystery of your inner muse. So find something that makes you happy. If that's coloring in a coloring book, do that. If it's, cross-stitching or sewing or knitting or going to a play or going to hear some poetry, go do that. Lie on the couch in the dark and listen to an entire CD. When is the last time anyone has done that? I'm asking you because I haven't. So I did it once on a long car ride, and I was so happy that it was like the old days, where you put the record on and you lie in the dark on your bedroom floor and you listen to the whole thing until your parents bang on the door and tell you to go to bed. So the key word here is delight, and to not know everything, and to not have a plan, and to just express yourself and enjoy it. And when you do that, it will feel less like a chore. Your creativity will, it will be more about creativity. It will expand. You'll feel inspired. And I can't guarantee that solutions will come for whatever problems you're dealing with in your writing, or you'll suddenly love what you're working on. But there's a really good chance that will be the case. But you will feel satisfied because you're creating in some way. Take some colored chalk and go draw something on the sidewalk outside your house. Just find a way to express yourself and have fun with it and bring some joy back into it. So that's creativity. Okay, so next, oh my gosh, I'm sitting on the floor and this is really, really not comfortable. I have to get back to yoga. Okay, so let's go for the moon card, and let me explain my rationale behind choosing this moon card. I love this deck. Look how cool that is. This is black, and the moons are it's actually blue. I think it's blue. Black, can't tell. Night sky, and very blue, gray, and white moons. I love it. So this card is the new moon in Aquarius, which is happening on February 4th. And this is why I picked this card. The new moon in Aquarius is happening on February 4th, which is Monday. And this card says, bring love into the situation. And it's kind of a purple card. It's got some purple there, which I love purple, so this works for me. So I'm going to read from the book because I've just gotten these cards. Aquarius is all about progress and modernity, so this is the time to move forward. The new moon in Aquarius card means no looking back. Very appropriate for the new year. Change is on its way, and it could come quickly. Whether you get the change you want depends both on whether you believe you can have it and how much you're relying on others to bring it to you. This card comes with a suggestion that you may need to do things independently and on your own. Time may be of the essence when this card comes up. Aquarius energy has an electric feel to it. Certainly, there is a sense that you need to let go of the past and move toward your future as soon as possible. So, no pressure, but you need to start moving toward your future as soon as possible, is what this card is saying. That sounds like a little bit of pressure. Sorry about that. However, this is just a reminder that we are technically still in a new year. January is all about, waking up from the holiday and all the time you took off, hopefully. And hopefully you caught up on sleep and family and food, and you just get completely out of the routine of life over the holidays. And so January has been all about probably getting back into a new routine and discovering that you're even busier than you were before, and how do you deal with that. or things might be moving incredibly slow and you are eager for this new year to start. So this is a reminder that it's February. Some consider it, I believe, doesn't the Chinese New Year start in February? It's the Earth Pig, which is a very positive, fun, silly kind of spirit. And it's time to really dig into what you want to do. It's still early enough to get moving on whatever projects you want to work on, or your goals, or to start expressing your creativity. It's still early enough in the year for you to get started and make the most of your time. This is only the second month, so there are many, many more months for the rest of the year. If you start now, you could make significant progress, even possibly meet a goal before the end of the year. And wouldn't that be so cool? That would be a great way to end the year. So remember that the book also mentioned doing things individually, independently, and on your own. So maybe in the past you've been following a bunch of people, you've bought a bunch of books, you listened to lots of webinars, you went to workshops, you had critique groups, you went to conferences. You might have taken in a lot of information last year about writing and about what to do and how to do it. And that can be often quite paralyzing and make you lose sight of who you are and what your story is that you want to tell in whatever form, song, poem, essay, whatever, and your own voice. So step back from all the things that you've learned either last year or over the years and get back in touch with your own voice. Think on your own. Think independently. Write the stories or the poems, or make the music you want to make in terms of, songs or whatever, or plays. Do the follow the ideas that make you excited, because honestly, by the time a trend comes, everyone's aware of a trend. You guys, the trend is kind of over. People will beat it with a stick for quite a while after, but the market just gets glutted with people trying to follow the trend. So the best thing you can do is, if you don't already have a project that relates to that trend that you can send out immediately, is just keep moving forward on the projects that you love and that you are inspired by. That's most important, is to do that. Be independent. Be your own individual voice. Be unconventional. Be original. And who knows, you might end up being the trendsetter yourself. So bring love into the situation. I feel like this is about you and not being too detached, because the Aquarians can be emotionally detached, this sign. So try not to do that. Try not to I know what I want to say, but it's not coming out, which is not good when you're a writer, as you all know. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, be good to yourself and love what you're doing. Be excited about whatever it is you're working on. Love your project. Love the time you spend writing. Be excited about the process. I feel like process, not product, is going to be the theme here, but be excited about the process, and that will get you through. Do whatever planning you need to do, and plotting and pantsing and blueprinting and whatever you need to do. Make your charts if that makes you happy, but also just let things flow and enjoy it, and think more about enjoying the process than what the product will be and how you will benefit from having a book out there, whether that's poems or essays, and running to readings. So basically, get out of your head and into your heart, because it's only by writing from your heart that you're going to connect with the hearts of your readers. And that's the emotion, hooking people's emotion is where it's at. So let's move on to the Oracle card. And this card is Between Worlds. is the Colette Reid deck, Between Worlds. And if you can't tell, one side is black and white and the other side is color. And I hope that you're noticing that the flamingo is going from black and white to color, which is very positive. So part of this is, I'm seeing this card as we literally just went between worlds with the end of one year and the beginning of another. And for some reason, I'm also thinking like winter into spring, because we're, thank goodness, in February, and it's just a matter of weeks now until we hit, you know, like whatever, March 20th or 21st, first day of spring. It's what, 7 weeks away? Even less than 2 months? That sounds very, very, very close. And so it's a time of transition, and it's still, like I said, in another card, for one of the other cards, it's still the beginning of a new year. It's still February. There's still time for you to get started on something that might take the whole year. And I don't mean to scare anyone that if you start, who might think, oh, if I don't start now, I won't get it done. That's not what I mean. But I'm just reminding you that there's still the whole year ahead of you, and you can make a lot of progress in this time. You could finish a project in this time. But you're in a transition. So I don't know what this transition means to you. You could be transitioning from one project to another. Maybe you finished a project last year. Well done to you if you did. And now you're trying to figure out what to do next year. You may not have done anything last year. Who knows what was going on in your life. And now you need to move into living in full color, because you feel like you haven't been making an effort and you haven't been living your writing dream. And by God, you're going to do it this year. And you're transitioning. And I mean, that's a pretty big deal, going from black and white to full color there. I mean, there really is no transition here. It's just from one to the other. There's no blurring of the two in the middle. So this transition can be somewhat abrupt, or it can maybe feel abrupt. But the card is saying too that this isn't about learning. You're finished with that. Whatever the lessons are, you've learned them, and now it's time to make a leap. So I think that's why there's this immediate leap from black and white to color. So it's really about making a leap. And what happens when you make a leap? You take a risk. It's uncertain. You don't know what's happening. And you have to just trust that you're going to land on your feet and enjoy the freedom and the mystery. I remember the creativity card also talked about mystery. This card also speaks about the unexpected, and that, like I said, you've learned your lessons, you've planted your seeds, and now it's time for them to grow. But what you get might not be what you expected. So again, see that the flamingo, which is a funny choice, and I don't know what a flamingo means, so I'm not even going to try to talk about it. But there is an element of whimsy there. They're quite amazing, brilliant, whimsical creatures. But this is a big leap to go from black and white to color here. That's a huge transition. And there's a lot, I'm just imagining like that it would take a lot of power and strength to burst into color, you know, bursting into bloom, so to speak. So own your power, don't be afraid of it. And growing and changing takes a lot of effort and courage. And it seems like that's going to be called on, you're going to be called on to embody those qualities this year. But this is, to me, also a really exciting, happy, fun card. I mean, a flamingo is hardly a harbinger of doom and gloom. And, right? So this to me is a card that's embodying the element of 3 for the year, or the number 3 for the year. Yeah. There's a little bit of a rainbow quality to this card, obviously, literally. So be patient, be courageous, and know that it's happening, and expect the unexpected. And don't judge the unexpected, because it could be that what you get is better than what you expected to get. It's better than what you planned for. I'm pretty sure that's what this card is saying, that expect the unexpected and expect it to be better than you thought it would be. So just keep moving forward. This flamingo is moving forward, so keep moving forward with whatever you're working on. Yeah, I mean, be conscious of what's happening as you're writing. If your writing is going off in a direction that you didn't plan for or didn't expect, just go with it. Surprises and mystery are important in books. You can't, if you plot a book down to the very, or, whatever it is, plot a poem, or, revise a poem or edit a poem to the very last preposition, or just be overly controlling of whatever you're writing, then you're just going to suffocate it and take any and all joy and mystery and surprise out of it, and you don't want to do that. So imagine that we lived in literally a black and white world, and then suddenly the color went on and we saw that a bird that we thought was black and white was pink. See that? Imagine that. We think that the flamingo is black and white, and somebody flips a switch to color and we find out this bird is pink. That's an awesome surprise, isn't it? So keep that in mind. So if that happens in whatever you're working on, go with it. Okay, so let's move on to the new totem, animal totem deck, and these cards are so lovely. It's looking a little more yellow than it is. Oh, here's my little band-aid because I have a paper cut. It's a unicorn band-aid. I think it says tiny unicorns will kiss you better. I believe that. So this actually has more like peach and orange in here, and I think some green too, but it's not coming through in this color. And this is blue and purple. So the number 3 card in the animal totem, I don't think you're ready for this. So speaking of the flamingo, is the armadillo. You didn't see that coming, did you? The armadillo spirit. These cards are sort of imaginings of these animals. They're not supposed to be accurate drawings. And to me, this armadillo looks a bit like a cross between a fish and a turtle. So it's not really saying armadillo to me, but I can see it. So armadillo spirit. And it says set healthy boundaries. That's what this card says. So this deck is also new to me. And I'm going to do a reading with this deck at some point because it's super cool and absolutely gorgeous. So before I look at what Colette says, I'm going to say that for me, this card says that if you're going to meet your goals this year, if you're going to do what you want to do this year, and it maybe you don't have a goal to finish a project, you don't have a goal to publish something, or to focus on your writing, you just want to enjoy being creative, make sure that you set the boundaries you need to set in order to have the time to do that, in order to focus on yourself, in order to get back to your own creativity, whatever that looks like. So I know that's easier said than done, but by setting boundaries, you'll be in alignment with your intentions for what you want for your life this year as a writer. And if you don't, and you don't learn to say no, then you're going to get to this point next year and not have done anything you've been yearning to do. And if you've been wanting to write, just to write for the sake of writing, to enjoy it, which is really what we all should be doing, then if you're going to do that, you're going to have to find the time. No one's going to hand you the time. No one's going to hand you the pen and paper and say, okay, here's a half an hour you should write now, and I'll come back and tell you when it's time to get back to work or whatever. No one's going to do that. You're going to have to do it for yourself. And this may mean, especially if you have a family, if you have kids, if you have, maybe you're a caregiver for a parent, maybe you're the person who helps everyone else out at work, you're going to have to back off from that. You're going to have to let people do things on their own, make their own mistakes, not meet their deadlines, not have their school project when they go to school because you were supposed to do it for them, or that's what you always do, and the kids didn't even bother trying. And I did that for my sister once. So I don't have kids, but I did that for one of my sisters. I did her school project because she waited too long. But you need to set boundaries for that so that you know what is yours. You own what is yours, and you don't own what isn't yours. Because saying no is empowering. Because when you say yes to what other people want, you're saying no to what you want. I'm going to say it again. And I didn't make up this statement, so I'm not going to be putting it on a t-shirt or anything. When you say yes to what other people want from you, you say no to yourself. So in saying no to other people so that they can say yes to themselves, you're saying yes to yourself, and you're modeling that for them. Not that that's your goal, but I think part of the reason we all say yes to people when we don't want to is because we don't see other people saying no. Wait, that sounded confusing. I think the reason why we don't say no to other people is because we don't see anyone doing it. And so it's become this thing where people think you're being selfish and you should just be selfless. But it just makes everyone miserable. And it makes the people that you say yes to feel kind of crappy because they know you'd rather say no. So it's a lose-lose for everyone all the way around. Be clear about what you need and take care of your needs first, and let other people take care of their own needs. It's empowering. This could be also a health card this year. Take care of yourself. Healthy boundaries. It could also just mean regular health. Take good care of yourself. Get rest. If you're tired or you keep getting colds because you're wearing yourself out, or you're not eating well and you're not getting enough sleep and all this stuff, you're not going to have time to write. You're not going to feel creative. You're going to use any and all extra time you have to catch up in your sleep, or maybe exercise if you're not. But if you take care of these things regularly as just a part of your life, then when you do have free time, you'll have the energy for writing, the mental and physical energy for writing. So, what does Colette say here? Let's see. She wants you to know that to know your limits and understand that know your limits and understand that it's an empowering choice to say no to what doesn't feel right. Armadillo Spirit is here to tell you that it's time to be honest with yourself about what you really want. Be clear on what you are agreeing to, declare what your needs are, and say no as a full sentence. These are acts of respect and kindness to others as well as yourself. Trust your body's signals and you will know what to do. So that means you'll know when someone asks you to do something you don't want to do. There's a feeling that comes over you. Everyone has probably a different feeling, but it's kind of probably the same. You know that feeling. Follow it and listen to it. Armadillo Spirit guides you in making good decisions that are grounded in a strong sense of what belongs to you and what does not. So good decisions here means making decisions that are in alignment with what you want to do this year in terms of your writing. Make sure that you are thinking of that when you make your decisions. If you say yes to something, is that going to mean that I don't have time to do the writing I wanted to do this weekend that I was finally going to be able to do? Or am I going to be too tired? Am I going to not have time to do the research I want to do? It could even be as simple as someone saying, oh, let's have a writing day together, which sounds great, and sometimes it works, but other times having a writing day with other people means you end up chatting and eating and watching rom-coms, or you gossip, which is fine, read magazines, or you only write a little bit, and you don't get as much work done as you do on your own. So beware of things that seem like they might be doing what you're supposed to be doing for your writing, because they sound good sometimes, but they don't always pan out that way. So that's it for the reading for the 3-year, and I hope this was helpful. You know, you might consider using these as prompts as well. I don't know. Do you have an armadillo story? I do, actually. So you might consider using these cards to inspire you in your writing. Between Worlds could be a great title for a poem or a story. Or even if the image inspires something, a memory. Love poem here, who knows? Well, I don't know if you want to write a fairy story, but let's see. You could write a letter to you from your muse in this one, if you wanted to use this for a prompt. How about writing a letter to yourself from your muse, telling you what to do with this year, what she wants you to do with this year. Maybe a 12-month plan if you're one of those people who likes to plan. Maybe consider that. A new moon is a good time to set intentions. So on Tuesday, make a list of your intentions for the month or the year, whatever you want to do. And then write them in the present tense, by the way. And try not to use I want, because that keeps you in a state of wanting. So maybe write your list of intentions on Tuesday or Wednesday, no later than Thursday. You just want to, the energy is strongest like right at the new moon or just after, I believe. And then burn it. If you can't burn it safely, then tear it up and bury it somewhere or throw it away or flush it. But be careful with that, you know. Don't write things on a giant piece of paper and try to flush that, and then you could intend to have a plumber in your house, and that's not going to be a fun thing to do. So I hope this has given you some inspiration for this month and this year. And remember, hit me up if you're a writer who's looking for a manuscript editor. I'm working on the next book for Del Sol Press, which is awesome, but I do have space and time I have set aside space and time for a project this month, or next month even I could do. So get in touch. I'd love to talk to you about your project. So Happy New Year, everybody. I will try to do better with these readings. I have some fun decks I want to play with, and I'm going to share them with you over the coming year. Happy writing.